Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the only YouTube channel that never has and never will pull any punches. I'm Matthew. I'll be going over some of the things that have been going on with the coronavirus lately. First, I want to consider the reopening of public schools. I know this is a hot topic right now. A lot of people are saying that reopening the schools is going to create another wave of coronavirus. Other people are saying that they've been closed long enough already and that kids' education is being adversely affected. Now, first off, it's important to note that coronavirus does not target this demographic. Young kids have virtually zero chance of dying from coronavirus. Fatalities are highly skewed in favor of older population. So the fear that children are going to become infected with coronavirus and spread it among themselves is unfounded. I'd like to start out with a personal account. It's a conversation I had today with a teacher. She says, not only are teachers overworked because instead of having a group of students in a class where they can keep an eye on them, make sure that they're completing their assignments, stuff like that. Aside from that, she says that there are three distinct groups of kids. Group number one is those who have always been conscientious, get 95 on all their tests. Those kids, she says, are performing exactly the same at home on their laptops and such than they were in the classroom. So this has not affected them at all. Second group of kids, she says, are those who never turn in assignments anyway, even under normal circumstances, get bad grades. She said that the studying patterns of those kids haven't changed at all either. They're still slacking off. However, she said that there's a third group of kids, those in the middle. They got along okay before all this started, but now that they're at home and they're not being held accountable directly by the teachers, they're slacking off, not turning in their assignments, and in general not performing as well. Personally, I like the idea of online classes. If you can regulate them properly, they instill self-regulation and accountability into these kids. That's a good thing. Now, all those being equal, no other forces being added to the mix, that'd be great. However, in my state of Illinois, the governor has issued a statement whereby teachers, they are not allowed to lower their grades below what they were before the school shut down. So if you had an average of 95, I don't know what that correlates to, maybe an A. If you had that when all of this started, you could simply avoid doing all of your homework assignments, every single one of them. The teacher has no power whatsoever. She cannot lower your grade. And she said there are kids who are milking the system. These kids aren't learning anything. This is not benefiting them. The liberals are always screaming about, oh, the children. We have to do this and that and the other thing for the children. Well, what about now? The children are not at risk of dying of coronavirus. The children's education is being severely disrupted, and all of the extra work is driving the teachers nuts. I mean, at what point are the officials going to say that it's safe, quote unquote, to allow the kids back into regular school? I mean, when? When there is no more coronavirus in the world? I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen. And if it does, it'll be 10 years from now. It's a virus. You can't kill it permanently. When are they going to reopen? When are the benefits of getting these kids back into school going to outweigh the risks, the perceived risks? When? It's entirely subjective. And of all people who should be getting back to their normal routine is these kids, because coronavirus does not target them. Remember when you were younger and your parents heard that someone in the neighborhood, someone's kids had measles? They immediately sent you over there to play with them so that you get them, so that you become immune to them and you would get them later in life. They become hives and become much more of a problem. You remember that? The same basic principle applies to this coronavirus thing. Studies have shown that you cannot contract the virus, convalesce, and then get it again. Your body develops antigens, preventing another infection. According to a study published in Science Journal, researchers modeled different scenarios involving social distancing and the effect that it has on peak coronavirus cases and deaths, and how a potential resurgence after the initial wave might take form. In analyzing one of these rebound peaks, they said that social distancing was so effective that virtually no population immunity was built. Basically, if you get this disease, there is almost no chance that you have been exposed to it and have become immune to it. Your body has not produced the antigens. Now, this is going to increase the death rate, because if there's virtually no chance that you have antigens, there is a much higher chance that you will die from it. That's just common sense. Sure, at the outset, it flattened the curve almost perfectly. However, what that did, instead of terminating it right there, peripheral cases around the edges, those got out and kept infecting a very small number of people. So you can't kill it. All you can do is just flatten the curve and then make it wider and wider. Unless you build up population immunity, this could last forever. One way of doing this, in my opinion, again, I'm not an epidemiologist, that would be getting kids back to school. See, they're the ones who would be least affected by this, and they could help spread immunity. Now, here's something genuinely interesting. My dad asked me the other day, I wonder if there's any difference in the number of cases in conservative states versus democratic states. The next day, I stumbled across this. Now, I'm not going to provide any commentary on this. You can look at the numbers yourself and draw your own conclusion. The source for this data is worldometers.com. It's a pretty reputable source. The numbers are pretty close to what the CDC says they actually are. So it's a good, if not necessarily perfect, source. New York Times article, Coronavirus Live Updates. Jaw-dropping fraud reported as jobless claims reached 38.6 million. The article goes on to say that, quote, a sophisticated fraud network targeting Washington state's unemployment system claimed hundreds of millions of dollars before officials were able to identify and crack down on the coordinated attack, state officials said Thursday. These morons, who can't keep track of hundreds of millions of dollars, are still trying to run our lives. Go figure. Fraudulent claims have been filed on behalf of tens of thousands of people and many involved individuals who had not lost their jobs, she said. What? And that was only one fraud ring, or however many people were involved. How many others do you think are going out throughout the country? The government is handing out free money like candy. They didn't think this was going to attract fraudsters? What are these people thinking? Right now, there are 38.6 million Americans out of work. That's approaching 15% of all working age adults who are not working. They've been laid off because of this dumb virus. These people have families. There are restaurants who can't find people to work for them because they're making more money staying at home collecting unemployment and this stupid stimulus check. How did the people in Washington not suspect that this was going to happen? How? Finally, I'm going to leave you with a bit of good news. Trump's new press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, is absolutely something else. She's got a sense of humor, very well versed, very well prepared, and a good speaker. Check this short video out. I'm sure you've seen this, but I just want to go over it again.
In a previous life, before you were press secretary, you worked for the campaign, and you made a comment, I believe, on Fox, in which you said President Trump will not allow the coronavirus to come to this country.
We will not see diseases like the coronavirus come here.
Given what has happened since then, obviously, would you like to take that back?
Well, first, let me note, I was asked a question on Fox Business about President's travel restrictions. I noted what was the intent behind those travel restrictions, which is we will not see the coronavirus come here. We will not see terrorism come here, referring to an earlier set of travel restrictions. I guess I would turn the question back on the media and ask similar questions. Does Vox want to take back that they proclaim that the coronavirus would not be a deadly pandemic? Does the Washington Post want to take back that they told Americans to get a grip, the flu is bigger than the coronavirus? Does the Washington Post likewise want to take back that our brains are causing us to exaggerate the threat of the coronavirus? Does the New York Times want to take back that fear of the virus may be spreading faster than the virus itself? Does NPR want to take back that the flu was a much bigger threat than the coronavirus? And finally, once again, the Washington Post, would they like to take back that the government should not respond aggressively to the coronavirus? I'll leave you with those questions, and maybe you'll have some answers in a few days.
This girl came fully prepared. She had all of her notes laid out in front of her. This reporter was basically attacking her, nitpicking one of the statements that she made before when she was talking on Fox Business about her opinions on the coronavirus. She dealt with them very well, and then she turned the question back on the media and brought up all these cases where the media had been downplaying the virus, saying that it was no worse than the flu, saying that people were overreacting. And she listed about 6 or 7 of them, and that they were listening in dumbfounded silence. And she did it so nicely. She didn't do it in a nasty way. She didn't come across as being petty like they were being. She just said it calmly and matter-of-factly. I mean, she has the unique talent of being able to stab, twist, and disembowel someone verbally and look sweet and innocent while she's doing it. That is exactly what viewers want to see. I could do the stabbing and the disemboweling part myself. Of course, it would come across as extremely rude and confrontational, but she gets the best of both worlds. She makes it appear like she's the victim, and she is, of malicious attacks, along with her boss, President Trump, and she makes the media look stupid and petty in contrast, using their own words against them. In my opinion, she is one of the best candidates for the position that I could think of. I never heard of her before she became press secretary, but Trump made a spectacular choice in choosing her. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. I just got to keep exposing the lies of the liberal media that are trying to prolong this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Please leave comments if you think I could have done something better or added something, taken something away. Thank you for attention. Good night and God bless.